Hi, Leo. I'm just changing out the pins on my mannequin right now so that it's a little bit lower profile. It's much better than these big red pins that I've got here. So I'm just preparing my mannequin so that we can drape our very last corset pattern, and before we get started on actually sewing them all up, which is very exciting. So I'm just fixing up my mannequin a little bit, just changing out the pins on it, because I've been using these glass head stretch pins, and they're just a little bit too, they're really great pins to use, but they bend really easily, and I wanted something a little bit more lower profile, so I'm just changing them out to these dressmaking pins, and these are a lot better, especially to drape with. So today, if you want to join me for a couple of hours, we're going to be draping the last corset pattern. Ooh. So this will be number 5. We've done quite a few things. So today is Saturday, it's midday. Thought good time to get everything done. Hello, I'm going well today. How are you? Thank you for joining me again. We're going to be draping the last corset pattern today. I just wanted to change out the pins that I use to attach my my padding on my corset, because the last couple of times you've seen that I've got these little stretch pins, which is these ones, and they've got little glass heads on them, which means that they're not very smooth when it comes to draping anything. So I'm just changing them out to these dressmaking pins, and they're much better. See, look, it's much smoother along there now. So yeah, I'm just fixing all of this up just to make draping a bit easier, because I use these all the time. Yay! Oh, I'm glad you're going well. You got any sewing projects? Oh, I should have made myself a cuppa before I started. Silly me. Let's see if I can ask for one later. Paper cutting. When I'm actually cutting out, especially patterns, if I want to cut them out very, very, very finely, I actually use what's it called? These are little craft knives. Yeah, it gives a really nice, very sharp cut, and you don't have to fiddle around with too much paper. You just cut it straight along with the self-healing mat underneath, and that's what I prefer to use. I just find it so much easier to use that, and yeah, it really comes in handy. I sometimes use them to, oh, there's another one that's dead. I sometimes also use them as a unpicker as well. Hello everyone. Welcome to our very last session of draping corset patterns. This is number 5. I've put the previous 3 up onto YouTube, but because the very first corset pattern is one that I've already made previously, and it's already available up on my store in my school, I haven't got one for that. Honestly, whatever you can afford. The very first ones that I got were just really, really cheap ones that I got from the grocery store in this like little craft section. Oh, another dead. These ones I use are, I love the Fiskars brand. The Fiskars brand is really good. This is actually ones that's supposed to go with the Fiskars thing, but I still use the same little thing that I got from, so this is like, you just sort of like unscrew it there, and you put whichever blade you want to put in there. I know that there's other ones that are much better, but this is just what I've got, so that's what I'm using. It's cheap, it's easy, that's what I do. Just start with whatever you can get, whatever you can afford. There we go. All right, I'm trying to get all of my stretch pins back, because I used so many of them on this mannequin. just to pad it out. Oh, great. What is that? Oh, the kids next door, I think. All right. We're getting there. I'm just trying to get all these pins back. Oh, anytime. You're welcome. All right. Just trying to get the last of these pins. Okay, so the last one that we're going to do today is actually an underbust, but it's still like a little bustier. Oh, fantastic. It's more like if anybody's got any questions, let me know, and I just keep talking. I never stop talking. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I think I share too much, and it's just like, oh, they must be getting bored of me now. I'll just keep chatting away. Somebody might think I'm actually an extrovert, but I'm not. I'm a severe introvert. That's okay. All right, so we are just, see, look at that. Look, that's so much better. Now that we don't have these little glass head pins in there, we've got those little bumps. That's what was annoying me, so I'm replacing them all with these pins here. They're much better. I really should have got myself a cuppa. Silly me. Silly me. Okay, just got a few more to go. This is not going to be one that's like really affected by me replacing like the corset that I'm about to drape. Oh, thank you. Oh, she's going to make me one. This seems very private. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Hello. Introverted certified. Yeah, certified yappers unite. Let's unite separately in our own homes for only as long as we can handle it. Seems very private. If you're talking about my mannequin here, her name is Morgan. She's my best friend when it comes to draping any garments. These more lines. Oh, fantastic. I don't have any regulars anymore because we are preparing to do a really big move down south. So I've helped all of my other clients to move on to other dressmakers in the area or finishing up all of their work. Oh no, I've got, this is Morgan and I have Josie and I have Mary. Yeah, I've named them. I thought, why not? I can't afford to do that. Come on. You need a dress form, you can grab one from JK Trading. That's where I got this one. Nice. They're kind of like our co-workers, aren't they? They've all got their own specific jobs, and it's like when you're working on your own as well, it's like it's nice to have them. I know it sounds like we're all insane, but just embrace it and we're all good. I embrace the weird. Oh, stop it. Alright, I'm not going to go like all the way around because there's a lot in here. I am replacing, so I padded out this mannequin with these hips and a bit of an extra booty here because I'm draping a lot of different corset patterns on her, and I was using these glass head pins because that was all that I had at the time. But obviously these are really, like, they've got a big lump on the end, and there was a lot of them, so I was like, I really need to replace them with these other pins that I've got, which are just nice and flat. You probably can't see very well, but yeah, so they're nice and flat along here, and it's a lot more secure. And I also did it for the bust as well, so I turned it from being a B cup into a D cup. This one's name is Morgan. Yes. So I just have a couple more I need to do, because I need to, like, I've secured it so this little section here is not actually connected to Morgan. It is like connected to these two to try and make it a little bit smoother along here. So I've got a little bit more to go, and then we will get started on draping the last corset. Almost there. Yeah, using measurements. Usually yes. So what I've done, I've actually made a video on how I did it. Each padded section is actually 4 layers of it's a knit fabric called Ponte de Roma. So it's nice and thick, and it doesn't stretch too much, but there's actually 4 layers. So I've got 2 layers here, which is what you see along here, and then there's another 2 layers which comes to about here. So that helps to create a little bit more of like just a smooth gradient when it comes to the thickness of it. But then on the inside, I've actually got some wadding on the inside that helps to really pat it out and make it nice and soft like this. And then you just sort of pin it in place. So the two, if you can see these stitches right here, that's what holds the 4 layers of the fabric together. And then the padding just goes on the inside. So if I wanted it to be a lot bigger, I can just add more padding onto the inside of it, or smaller, then I just take it out or take it off. So that makes it a lot easier, especially when it comes to the butt as well. So she's usually got a lot smaller booty. It's a lot flatter. It's actually about the same profile as what you see here. So I added a lot more here to it, and then I can add a lot more to the bottom as well. And I've also followed the contour of the butt as well. So that helps to sort of do like shorts and stuff like that. So yeah. Ta-da! Oh, I've got to do this side too. My savior, thank you so much. I just got a cup of hot chocolate. Yeah. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh my gosh, I've watched way too much TikTok. Thank you. Okay, I might just pin that one in place like that. Yeah. Oh, what's happening there? All right. There we go. Ah. Why is it in every single live I prick myself with a finger, with a pin? Prick my finger with a pin. Oh, this is, sorry about the creaking. I just got to move that around a little bit. Okay. We are almost done, and then I'll show you which corset pattern we are going to be draping today. Because it's more like an underbust one, and I can't even remember the name of it. What was the name again? This is there. Oh, no, not that one. That one. All right, I'm trying to get the design back up and running. Where is it? There it is. This is Peggy. That's right. This one here is named Peggy because it's a bit more of a retro kind of style. Sorry for making you guys wait a little bit longer. I started doing this and I was like, oh, this would be really good, and I should have done this so long ago, but I just got started and now I have to finish this. So I'm so sorry. Just give me a minute. Well, you're welcome to come back a little bit later and I'll be actually draping the thing. Oh, I just wanted this to be like nice and smooth, and yeah, it makes draping so much easier. Okay, just a few more to go. All right, I do believe that is it. There we go. That is much better. It's much more smoother now. Because this is just knit fabric that it's not fully, it's just pinned in certain places. So there is quite a bit of padding here. So it's not going to be completely flat because it's just flat fabric. Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter if it puckers. I'll just deal with it. I could probably iron it, but nah, that'll do. All right, she's ready to go. Yeah, it's okay. You just deal with it. It's not the end of the world. It's gonna pucker like that, but it's not gonna cause any issues when it comes to me patterning everything. I'm just gonna draw around it, so yeah. Ta-da! So it's a lot better up here, especially because we had this all pinned up with the glass head pins. Hang on, I gotta deal with this. I gotta deal with this for a second, hang on. There we go. So, originally we had the glass head pins here, which means we had big lumps all the way around, but now that I've got the nice, these pins, it just, there we go. I missed what you used under. So what, under this? Under this? So this is Ponte de Roma fabric, 4 layers of it. And this is just some wadding underneath. Yeah. So actually what I did was that I had an old mattress protector that needed to be chucked away, but the wadding on the inside was still perfectly fine. It was just had some staining and stuff on the outside, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to cut this open and I'm going to take the wadding out and put it in there. All works. There's nothing wrong with it, so I was like, why don't I just use it? Sometimes I use an old pillow, cushion, or a mattress protector, which is what I just use this for. So yeah, so we got 4 layers of Ponte de Roma fabric and some wadding from a mattress protector. Ta-da! I know it looks pretty cool, but yeah. So I just cut this out in like an oval shape. So that's why there's a lot more down here. It's because it's an oval here. And I did 4 layers of fabric. So there's 2 of what you see on the same size on the outside, and then there's 2 more that's slightly smaller. I'd say about 3 centimeters smaller, and that's what I've pad stitched all together. So there's 4 layers of the fabric and then the wadding on the inside. I did a video about it on me making it, stitching it together and putting this on. It's not that long ago as well. All right, we are making Peggy today. And if anybody happens to notice that I make a lot of garments with the name Peggy, it's because that's my great-grandmother's name, and she got me started with all this. So this is what it will look like. Yeah. Just a typical one, something that you could wear over a dress or like over a shirt or something. Yeah, so that's the size it's going to be. First ladies with bellies, how would you mimic that? So this is on the waist itself. So what I would do is I would have it so that this is sitting like where you feel comfortable wearing it. So sometimes if you've got a bit more of a belly and you don't want it to be directly on the waist, because like I've got a little bit of a belly here. I don't really want it to be directly on the waist, but what I can do is have it so that it's sitting at the bottom of the ribs and just have it like a bit smaller. So that's where I feel a bit more comfortable for it to sit. So it would be a lot thinner, like a lot smaller than what you see here, if you don't want it to sit directly on the waist. So that's right there. You can make this out of like so many different types of fabrics, honestly. It really depends on really what your aesthetic is. Personally, I think this would like look really good as like a tulle corset, or like it's like a corset belt, like an underbust kind of belt. If you make it out of tulle, actually, that's a whole section of the course where I make one, and I'll show you how to actually make it with tulle, which is something that I learned very late, and I'm like, oh, that's why it's actually really difficult. But anyway, so yeah, That's going to be this one. I do sell the patterns, so once I have finished with these 5 patterns that I'm making, I'll be taking everyone in my course how to actually make everything. I'm going to be making quite a few videos on it, but if you want to know exactly how I do everything, including making it for 3 very different body shapes, that's all part of my course where I go really in depth of how to do it all, but I will show you little bits and pieces. Thank you. Once the course is out, I will just be selling the patterns themselves in my store, which is in my school, and but if you're actually signing up for the course itself, it's all included. Okay, okay, so the reason I padded all of this out, all of that, is because I actually made this one. So this one is May, and she's a long line underbust corset, like that. And she's probably the first, yeah, she was the first one that we did. And the recording for the live for that one is up onto YouTube already. And I did a little bit here on TikTok, but I'll show all the different ones that I've done. I'm actually thinking about redrafting or redraping the 5th corset, which is the Morgan corset. That one's actually already up, available in my school at the moment, but I'm thinking about redoing it because I didn't do it with all of the padding and everything in it, and I feel like I need to do that one again. That's like 8 panels. My YouTube is the exact same as my name here, which is Dressmakers Design Studio. That's me. Oh, cool. All right, let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here, we've got this center panel right here. I can't help with anything right now, I'm so sorry. So this one here is what we're going to be patterning out, the first section right here. Now this is actually going to be a cut on the fold, so we're not going to have a seam line directly in the center here because we want to try and minimize the amount of seams and stitching that we have in the center, because there will be a thicker bone right here in the center. So this is going to be a cut on the fold, but I'll be patterning it from this point to here and doing the entire left side here. So this is the left side. I know it looks different on here, but this is the left side. So we'll be patterning 1, 2, 3 for the front, and then we'll probably do another 3 on the back as well. So we're going to follow the same process as what we've been doing for the last couple of corsets, but this is going to be a cut on the fold, so we can have these panel. This is all just one panel, and then I'm just showing you where all the boning channels are going to be. And yeah, ooh, I did that. So you can see here, these are the boning channels and where all the seam lines are going to be. So let's get started. The first thing that we always do is that we do the outline of the garment itself. There we go. So we're going to do the outline. So here is going to be the bottom section, and we're going to be following it up here like that. So we're going to do all on this side. Now a lot of people find this funny, but yes, I actually do use yarn for outlining everything. I just use yarn. I have been using this particular ball of yarn for years now. It's ridiculous. And I don't use tape or anything like that because that costs too much money, and I use heaps. So just yarn and pins. That's all you need to do. Okay, hot chocolate time. All right, oop. I got yesterday's pattern there. Alrighty. Don't do that. Oh, I just pinned. I got pins in my hand. I keep pinning myself. Silly, silly me. All right, so I'm going to use these glass head stretch pins again, now that I've replaced out all the other pins here. So I've got to get those out. prefer to use these pins because they really help with holding the yarn in place. Get it caught. Okay. Oh, that's already got that on there. All right. I dropped another one. There is so many pins on the floor, it's not funny. Okay, so let's get started with this. Oh, thank you for the rose. Oh, thank you. I feel so special. Okay, so we've got the underbust here. This is where, oh, thank you. This is the underbust line. It's directly where the breast tissue meets the body. And we're gonna go, what is this happening? Oh, thank you. Oh, I really appreciate you guys. Okay, so here we go. We've got the underbust right here, which is right there. So we're gonna go just a little bit above that. So we're gonna go about right in the middle between the underbust line and the bust line. The bust line is right here in the center. So there's the underbust. We're gonna go here. We're gonna bring this over 1 centimeter or about 12 to 15 mil right here. And that's gonna give us enough space to put a bone in the front here. And now we're gonna curve underneath the bust right here. Because we still wanna give you enough space if you wanna wear a bra underneath here. And enough space for the fabric to sit, for your shirt or whatever you wanna wear underneath this. There we go. So we can see how we're curving up underneath there. And now we're going to come up. Now we're not going to be cupping directly all the way up here. It's just going to come out just a little bit to about to the side seam. So we want a nice gentle curve because we want to try to accommodate for as many bust sizes as possible. All right, so we have the bust line directly across here, right? So at the center front, over the bust line to here. There we go. So we're hitting the bust line right there. There we go. So I'm going to put a pin here. I'm going to wrap this around a couple of times if I can get this out. There we go. There we go. And then secure that in place. There we go. So that's where it's going to sit, right here, and then we're going to go directly across. Like that. And now, we don't want to go directly on the center back line because we still need space for the laces. So we go about 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch away from that center line. Now, let me see if I actually have a good eye for this. Oh my goodness, that is exactly 2.5. All right, I gotta show you, Okay, look at that. 2.5 centimeters. Look at that. Or 1 inch. Hee hee hee. It's one of the cool things about doing this for such a long time is that you get like an eye for these kind of measurements that we need, that we use all the time. Oh yeah. It's ridiculous. There we go. So there is the center back. Ta-da! And then we bring this all the way along. Like that. And then we bring this back to the center front. Whoop! There goes the pin. My bad. Come here. Go in there, please. Why can't I do this? Okay. That one doesn't want to go in for some reason. I'm trying to make it work. Why aren't you going in? There we go. Okay. Finally got it to work. Okay. Center front, and then all the way back to the top. And wrap that around twice, and then we knot it in place. scissors on. All right. So here is the outline of our underbust. Now this looks kind of weird, doesn't it? To me it looks a little bit weird. It looks really plain. Let's see if we can spice it up a little bit. Do we think this is a little bit too far back? I think it's a little bit too far back. What do you guys think? Should I bring it forward just a little bit and maybe just go around a little bit more? Like bring this down just a little bit deeper and bring that just a little bit in. What are we thinking? Any ideas? Because I feel like this is too wide. This is too wide here. I think I need to make that just slightly deeper. Yeah. All right. Thank you. I'll do that. All right. So bring it forward just a little bit. All right, what do we think now? A little bit better? Yeah. Yeah. I know it looks really tight around here, like it's all straight lines, but I will smooth that out later. So does that look okay? Because at least when I grade it, I can make it so that the cup size is a little bit smaller. But at the same time, I'm making all of these so that they can be adjustable, but I'm thinking for the base corset, yeah, I think I like that a lot better as well. All right. Cool, thank you. All right, so now we need to put the seam lines on here. Should I do something? I'm trying to not get myself into too much trouble and put like way too much detail into this and make it even more complicated, but should I keep it simple or should I add a little bit more flair to the patterning a little bit? Because what can I do? What can I do? I'm trying to decide, because this looks... I've got all this space right here. I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. I could probably just lower it kind of slightly as well, maybe, and just bring this up like that and down. Nah, because I'll still have a bone here to support the top of the curve. Do we want to just go straight across? Yeah, I should probably just keep it like that and maybe... So we've got the V shape here, which is for the first seam line. I'm thinking too much. Let me know if it's getting ridiculous. So in my head, what I'm doing is I'm trying to visualize what it needs, like what it will look like eventually. Keep it simple, okay. I do overcomplicate things way too much, and then it causes more problems. I just like overcomplicating myself, I think. All right, so about there. There's one. I'm gonna go down to here. So we've got, yeah, I think with boning lined out, it'll look way less empty, but the base shape right now. Okay, cool. I like that. Okay. So we've got the first section here. I know it looks like weird here, but remember, this is going to be cut on the fold. So this whole front section here is going to be pretty big. It's going to be like that. And then we're going to have a bone right here in the center front. Now, we have all of this space from here to here, the side seam right here. So I'm going to put the side seam in. Alright, so there is the side seam. Well, as close to the side seam as I can make it, because the side seam on here is frustratingly annoying. Okay, here we go. All right, so there is the side seam. We have all this space that needs to be patterned out. Now, in order for this to keep the shape that it has now, we need a bone right here. Otherwise, this is just gonna flop down, okay? So we need a bone here, but we don't necessarily need a seam here. What I'm actually thinking is putting a seam right here, so that there is a bone directly in the center here, so that there's not so much stitching right here at this point right here. We want to try and keep this minimal. So if we have a bone that goes right here, and then a bone here at the side seam, well, a seam with a bone next to it, and then another seam right here, that'll try to keep it as minimal as possible. So let's do that one. So we've got, let's put it right about there. Let's go about, we don't want it too close to that bone, so about there. So there's enough space for this line of stitching. We have enough space for this bone right here, and then a seam right here, which will probably have another little bone attached to it. So remember, all of these bones, they are going to be fairly thin. They're going to be between 6 to 8 millimeters wide. So yeah, that's going to make it, it's not too big. So we don't need like a huge amount of space. We just need enough space to stitch them and all that stuff. There we go. So let's just pretend we've got like 2 seam lines here. We're going to have another bone right here to keep this point nice and in place. And then we have another section here, where we're going to have probably just another one here. I'm trying to figure it out. So see, an interesting thing is I can create all of this and have it be like all of these different pattern pieces with the bones and everything stitched on as one piece of fabric. And then what I can do is I can actually just get a whole piece of fabric that's slightly stretchy and just stretch it all the way over so that you don't see any seams at all. So I can really pattern this in any way that I want. So yeah, we have a couple of options. Do we want this pointing down this way here as well? Just straight up and down there? That's what I'm thinking I might do. So I'm not, like, I could make this a fairly big piece, but I'm also going to be grading this for multiple sizes. So it'll be better to have more panels so that it can fit more sizes. But because this is a size 14, I've got to remember that we're bringing it also down much smaller, which means we're going to have some really small pattern pieces right here. So there's a lot of things to think about here. So we're going to go directly in the center here, right there. Oh, that's not in the center. Oh, no, there's that. There we go. and bring that down right there. All right, there we go. Ta-da! Hang on a second. Yes, they do make plus size mannequins. This one here is a size 14, and I know that the company that I got this one from, they sell it to about, I think a size 24. But remember, that is straight size measurements, so it's just this, just a little bit more expanded. You can get all different kinds. If you get like one like her, this is Josie. She's, all the padding is pretty much down at the bottom now. I need to refit it out again, but that is my measurements about 3 years ago. Oops, sorry. So about 3 years ago, I took my measurements and I got the pattern from Bootstrap Fashions, and I made the mannequin for my own measurements. And yeah, that was good. But yeah, you can get curvier ones as well. Yeah, you definitely can. Just look up plus size dress forms. I got this one from JK Trading. Yes, I am in Australia. I'm in far north Queensland, which is, if you have ever seen a map of Australia, I'm top right hand corner. There's a big point, and I'm on the very coast of that one. You're welcome. Ooh, you're in Sydney. I grew up not too far south of Sydney, actually, on the south coast. There is a big difference. Yes, so this is Australian. This is, I think Australian sizing is the same as UK sizing. But I think Australian sizing is 2 sizes smaller, I think, than US sizing. I'm not sure. Yes. Yeah, you can definitely pad them up. Yeah, so I got this one from Australia, and this one here is based on Australian measurements. So that's why I got a size 14, because that is actually the most regular size, like the median size for typical Australians. So I did my research before I got this one. And that's the reason why I like to pad these ones out, because it gives them just a little bit more shape. Even though, yes, there are lots of people this size and shape, I just wanted it to be just a little bit more for my fit model. That's all. All right, so now we are patterning out the back section. And this one, I'm thinking one seam here, and then another seam here. And this section here is the lacing section. So, ta-da, right, let's go right there. Oh, I have got I'm dropping so many pins today. Oy, oy, oy. Thank you. All right, so now I'm just going to put in this last panel right here. So it's a fairly big panel right here, but there's the last one here, and this is just for the lacing panel right here. And then this is a very simple corset that is just going to be like a little underbust that you can kind of use as like, sort of like on the outside of your clothes if you want. So we've gone from 2 Victorian styles, which is the Morgan overbust and the Mina, I think it is the Mina, which is the full underbust, the long line underbust. So they're both a Victorian style. And then we've got Adeline, which is a cupped little bustier. So it comes from the waist and it's a cupped bustier. And then we have May, which is sort of like with a sweetheart neckline. It's just like a little overbust with a sweetheart neckline. It goes from the waist to the overbust. And then we have Peggy, which is this cute little corset belt. No, don't come out. Alright, that's fine. There we go. Oh, I just have to fix that. And there we go. Yay! So we have our last little corset. So this is considered an underbust, or it could be a belt, but I think this is going to look really, really cute. That does not look straight at all. Alright, like that. There we go. So this is what we are patterning out today. Ta-da! Alright, finished with our yarn. Oh, I am so sorry. There we go. Alright, I need some hot chocolate, if it's still hot. Yes, it is. Okay, so now let's get ready to take this off the mannequin and turn it into an actual pattern. And to do that, I need some fabric. Oh, I need the magnet for the floor because it is covered in pins. Oh my gosh, I have so many pins on the floor. That's why we use a magnet. Where'd they go? Disappeared. Oh, well, I'm sure my foot will find them later. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, I'm really sorry, I've got to move you. I've got to put you into a different thing. Sorry. Okay. There we go. Hello. This one here doesn't creak as much, so yay. All right. So I'm just going to move her out of the way for now. Let's get some fabric done. So what we use to drape the fabric is, this is just some bleached calico. It's the same thing as like cotton quilt backing, or I think in America you use muslin. So what you guys call muslin, we call calico. And what we call muslin, you guys call calico. That's what I figured out after all this time. Hey. So we need, how many pattern pieces? We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have one already prepared from yesterday. Okay, let's just heat that up. Yeah. So this is what we are doing today on a very hot Saturday. This thing's on full boil, so hey. What are you guys up to today? Oh, that's better. Oh, that's better. Just gotta wait for this to stop flashing. Has anyone seen the replays on YouTube yet? Especially the first one that I did when Morgan here decided to nearly quit on me. She popped out of the base. All you can see is me struggling to put it back in. It was ridiculous. Oh goodness. She almost quit. No. That's probably like way too big. I can probably make at least 2 or 3 out of those. So we always put the grain line on here. I'm actually going to cut this in 2. There we go. There we go. Now there's not quite as many as I need to make. I can probably get, yeah, good 3 out of these. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I just need 2 more. Yeah. Thank you. So we're just putting the grain line in. Put that one in half. There we go. Oh, 7 pieces. All right, let's drape this one out. I have seen left-handed scissors be the exact same price as the right-handed scissors. And yeah, I had a student who was left-handed, and yeah, we had to just swap out all of her scissors for left-handed scissors, and so many of her problems were fixed, but just by having left-handed scissors. An iron and a board. So the thing that I learned is that as I became more experienced in my sewing, I tended to use the iron and my ironing board a lot more often, because what I would do is that I would sew a seam and then I'd iron it or steam it to relax all the threads, or press it or something, and then I'd sew another seam. You realize that the more you sew, the more you actually iron, the more you steam. So I highly recommend getting a decent ironing board and a good iron. If you want to get an iron, get one that has an auto off function. So after it's been sitting there for a little while, it just turns itself off. And then as soon as you move it again, it'll turn back on again. So that's what this one here does. Now, I have gone through so many irons over the years. I've had cheap ones. I've had expensive ones. I've had super expensive ones. I've got one that has a steam tank, so like a big tank underneath it, and I use that one. If I'm going to be doing a lot of sewing consistently, I will get my big steam tank one out, and it's fantastic. I think this one here is a Russell Hobbs. I think my other one is also a Russell Hobbs as well. This one here I got, it's about $80 to $100 Australian. I think, I can't remember. I'm actually going to find out. I will get, I was about to say I'll get my phone out, but I'm live right now. I can't do that. So I'll see if I've got enough battery on this. Yes, I do. All right, so let's go Ta-da. Russell Hobbs iron. Okay, so the one that I got from that has the tank underneath it is this one here. Oh, yes, continue, thank you. It's this one right here. So I got that one from, I think I actually got that from Target. It says it's 160, but it's down to 144 at the moment. But I use that one consistently. It's really, really good. I've had that one for a couple of years now. Now this one, that's right. I actually got this one from Big W, and it says it's typically $89, but it's currently $66. You can also get it from Amazon. I love a good Amazon. Yeah, about $60 to $80. So, Not Russell and Hobbs, just Russell Hobbs. Okay. Whoops, there goes the thing. So, this one here, it's really, really stinking heavy, even for me, and I'm pretty strong. So this one here it's high powered. It has good steam function. It's got a good coating on it, so it's really good. And yeah, and it has that thing where you press the button and all the steam comes out, and it's fantastic. Good temperature. Yeah, so it's probably my favorite one, and I've had ones that are like really super expensive. I had one that was $250, $300, I can't remember, and honestly it only lasted me a year because I'm using them consistently. Yeah, but I will get myself a proper dressmaking like ironing board, the one that has a like a vacuum underneath it, so when you're steaming, the steam doesn't come up. It literally just goes straight through, and it works so well. And it helps to vacuum seal like the fabric to the ironing board to make it really easy to iron, especially if you're holding things in place like pleats and stuff. And then like a gravity fed iron, a steam iron as well, that's more industrial strength. But they're expensive, and I'm still in my house at the moment, so I'm just going to be like, no, I'll wait until I'm back in like an actual atelier, or if I'm in a specific space for my sewing. Whereas right now this is supposed to be my lounge room. Yeah. All right, let's get pinning. Let's get this pattern off of here. So, first step. There we go. First step right here is this one. Let's get this one. I'm actually going to put you back in the holder you guys were in before, because this is not the right angle I'm going for. I'm sorry, this one here is a little bit creaky, but hi there. Give me a second. Oop. This thing doesn't want to work anymore. Come on, work for me. Okay, let's see if we can make this work. Hi, there we go. Oh. I don't know why this thing does not want to work, but hey, this works. There we go.
So when does our king?
6 o'clock tonight. So let's get this patterned out. So we've got, now the reason I've got a bigger piece of fabric here is because I like to match the grain line up with the center front line right here. So let's get this matched up. I need proper pins for this one. Ah, no, don't do that. Okay. All right, so we've got grain line here, matching up. Thankfully, there is a seam line directly in the center front here. I'm gonna use, oh no, it's not working. There we go. It's not sticking in, there we go. Okay, so there is that. I'm going to match this one here up. You can see here, I will be getting rid of all this excess in a minute. Like that. And then we just match up the grain line with the center front line. It's good because it's a seam line right here. We're just going to match this up. There we go. So this is the exact center front, and thankfully you can see where the yarn is right here. So let's cut off some of this excess so we can match it up nicely. There we go. So now it'll sit nicely. And we just want to go to the outside of the yarn here. She's running away. Nope. All right, there we go. We have all that pinned out. Let's get rid of all this excess. There we go. So there is the first piece, and we're just gonna draw around it. So when people see a lot of people just like draping fabric on a mannequin and they don't have all these seam lines already marked out, it's because they're not really like, they're kind of just using the fabric as a, like something that you can draw on, or they're really draping like pleats and things like that. So what you're actually seeing in those videos, they're really not able to create a final garment with that unless they're hand stitching everything together. Whereas this is actually creating a pattern that is specifically made on a human form and then using that as like a pattern from here. Okay, so we've got center front here, like that. This goes over. There we go. Bring that across. There we go. So we have number one. And that is a cut on the fold. So there we go. So that little thing there, that means that this is the line that the fabric has to be folded over so that we can turn this into one full pattern piece that goes along the center front here. There we go. So let's cut off the absolute rest of this and then drape the rest. There we go. There we go. So now the reason that we do this part right here is because we wanted to, like, once all of this is fully patterned out and like we've got all this fabric draped, I actually iron, like steam all of these so that I have a much clearer look on where the lines are instead of just the rough me drawing on it. But it's still, like, I still do both steps. I just find it's good to always have a backup to make sure that it is exactly what I'm looking for. There we go. So now I'm going to use the smaller pieces. There they are. All right. So now this time, I'm going to do this little one here. Now I'm going to make it so that this grain line goes directly along the center. So it's not straight up and down. We want it to be just slightly off center, because if it was straight down, then it would have a lot of wrinkling along here, and that's not what we're looking for. We want this to be nice and smooth. There we go. Right the way down the center. There we go. So we're looking for nice and smooth grain lines in the correct direction. And now we're just going to trim off the excess so that I can draw it in place. There we go. There's all that excess. So we're going to match up these lines. Oh, hang on. Like that. She's escaping. Number 2. There we go. Done. Now I'm just going to fold under all the excess fabric, put all the pins in the right places. All right, I might cut off just a little bit more. There we go. So I've got this seam matching up exactly here. There we go. There we go. So I might put one more right there. There we go. Number 2 done. So we're going to make sure we're numbering everything. So we've got 1, 2, we've got the grain line here. We have, this is what cut on the fold symbol looks like. So I'm just drawing in all of the pattern notations as we go. All right, another small piece. Now the same thing here. See how this is slightly on an angle? We're going to make it so that the grain line follows down the center along here. The same as this one, because the grain line goes straight up and down here, and then we've got to tilt it a little bit, and then we're going to tilt it again just along here. So we're going to start from the very center, like that. So if you can see the outline right along here. So I'm just following that. There we go. And then I just pin just on the outside of the pieces of yarn. Right here. There we go. And that helps to hold it all nicely and smoothly in place. There we go. Let's just cut off all this excess. And I'm going a lot faster than I usually do in my lives, but it's a fairly simple design, this one. And yeah, I've gone over a lot of the details before, so I wanted to be able to show you guys, like, it can be done a lot quicker than the 3 hours that it took me for the first time, 2.5 I think for the second one. Third one was almost 3 as well, but this one here, it's a lot quicker. It's a fairly simple pattern, but it can be done very quickly. Alright, so let's match this up. There we go. There we go. Now I put the pins to the inside, now that it's all drawn out. Just want to keep holding it in place. Okay, let's cut off all the excess. Ooh, my hot chocolate's cold. Ooh. Anyway. There we go. Another one done. Okay, so there is the first 3 pieces done. We've got piece number 3. There's the grain line. There we go. So we're getting through this one pretty quickly today, actually. All right, so now this is the one that, remember how we're going to have a bone right here? So we're not going to have this part here just sort of flop down. So I'm going to make it so this pattern needs a bone right here. All right, so with that, I'm going to make it so that the grain line goes like directly down the center as well. So we're going to start with here. Oh, I need more pins. Good morning. Well, it's actually afternoon for me, but good morning for you. It is just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon for me. All right, there we go. So always pinning down that center line first, just like that. How are you today? We've finally, it is 10 p.m. for you. My goodness. Are you a late person like I am? I stay up way too late. I love staying up really late. So, I'm just going to cut off this bottom section because it's 11 p.m. My goodness, what are you guys doing? You're doing a me. I've been trying to go to bed earlier lately. Oh, you're crocheting a large blanket. Cool. I still have the crocheted blanket that my great-grandmother made for me when I was a little baby. And I love it. But unfortunately, sometime many years ago, somebody decided to put it in the wash. Not me. I know how to handle these things. But somebody put it in the wash. And now all the yarn just, it's not okay anymore. But I still have it because it's literally 37 years old. And my great-grandmother passed away when I was 12. So yeah, that is my forever keepsake. It's in like a little bowl somewhere. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Nice and flat. There we go. So let's cut off all this excess again. We're getting through this rather speedy today. There we go. I'm trying to finish my hot chocolate, but it's gone cold. But I'm determined. There we go. So we got grain line right the way down the center and all pinned out. Let's draw it on. So where have we got? We got right there. That's where it matches up. To here. There. Right there. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Number 4. Grain line there. Ta-da! Another one draped. All right. Let's do the inside. Then pins to the inside. we go. Alright, that needs more to be taken off. There we go. Ta-da! There we go. There is the front section all draped. Ta-da! Okay, we're going pretty well. So we can see here, got the first section, cut on the fold. We've got a little marking right here, which means that the grain line goes directly up and down. And then we've got number 2 where the grain line is coming this way. So everything's kind of slightly pointing this way. Fabric ready or just creating the pattern? So right now I'm just creating the pattern. Thankfully with this kind of pattern, just with about any kind of pattern, it means that you can use any kind of fabric that you want. You just have to know how to work with it, really. It's why having the grain line on here really helps with using all different kinds of fabrics, because this way will prevent any kind of wrinkling, even in very thin fabrics. If I wanted to make this out of a tulle fabric, and obviously with tulle, there's quite a few tricks that you need in order to work with it to create something like this. But if I wanted to use tulle, I could still make this pattern out of that, or what would I probably make this with? What I would actually really like to do is to create the whole underlayer of this, where you can see all the stitch lines, and attach the boning onto this, and then get a slightly stretchy fabric that is cut out just as one big piece. So if I lay all of these pattern pieces out together with no seam allowances in the center on the seam lines right here, just lay them all out together and get one piece of fabric to just stretch out over the cross, like all the way around it. That would be really cool as well. Another one, you could have it so that there is like a base layer, and then you can just pin like all different kinds of fabrics to it. It's really like, this is creating a base design that you can then create with any kind of fabric. I started sewing when I was about 9 years old. My grandmother got me started, So my grandmother got me started with sewing clothing when I was 9. My great grandmother actually started me with crochet when I was about 5. But she did a lot of sewing herself. And then my mother did a lot of sewing. She taught me a lot more, and would get very... She said that she was fine with it because she was actually here a few days ago. You can actually hear her in the background of one of my lives recently. And I asked her what did she think about me taking her sewing machine to school all the time when we had fashion design classes in high school. She was fine with it, but I know at the time she was very angry with me. She got so frustrated. So you can see here with the grain lines how they're all sort of pointing slightly towards the front. That will help to prevent a lot of the wrinkling in these fabrics. But yeah, let's do the back. Ta-da! Okay. I'm gonna use that one there for the center back. Then I've got these two. You know, I've actually had students that did not start sewing until well after retirement age. I had a student who was in her 60s, and she was like, I've just retired and I really want to pick up a new hobby. And she decided that she was going to start sewing. And I was like, okay. So she would come and see me, and we would do some sewing, get some sewing projects, and we'd have a lovely chat the whole time. Yeah, it was really good. I had another student who was just about to finish high school, and she was about to go to start doing a costume design course in university. And she wanted to get, like, she was really great with the design aspect of it, but she didn't have basic sewing techniques. So let me just fix up my phone right here so that you can see a bit better. So yeah, she went to, I'm pretty sure she went to NIDA. So that was where she was doing all the costume design side of things. Yeah, so I taught her basic sewing techniques, and today together we made a shirt, a pair of pants, and just taught her all the different kinds of basic sewing techniques. You're 17, want to learn, but I don't know where to start. Okay, so I have just what you need. Go to my bio, click the website, and if you look down just a little bit down the website, you'll see Start Here. And I've got a free sewing essentials course to get you started. I've got a bunch of free resources there to get you started. And then you can decide from there. It really is just knowing sort of what is it that you actually want to make. And yeah, I've got a bunch of free resources there. I've got my YouTube channel. There's heaps of resources. So if you want to start sewing, the first question is, what exactly is it that you want to make? And why? Why do you want to make this stuff? I found if you have a plan of, like, it's great to know how to sew, but once you get to the point where you've got an idea on, like, the basics of it, it really comes down to, so what do I do now? Like, what do I want to make? And yeah, just sort of go from there. What I tended to do is I've known the basics of sewing for a long time, and so let me take you on a bit of a journey as to how I actually got started with all the corsetry stuff. Back in 2014, 2015, I was in a position where I'd gotten so bored with sewing because I've been doing it for such a long time, and I decided that I could either give it up and do something else, or I would give myself a year and a day and I would learn something new, really challenge myself. And I actually found a couple of videos. I was just scrolling on YouTube and I found a couple of videos about corsetry, and I was like, huh, okay, well, this is new. This is new. And I went down the rabbit hole of learning about corsets, and it's literally like the engineering of sewing. It's really about learning how to create a garment that is either like directly on the body and it's really supporting the body, or it could be like really tight and bringing in the body to do tight lacing. The thing about corsetry is that it's got such a huge history to it, and there's a lot of like, it's been around for a really, really long time. It is just a general staple of a lot of people's wardrobes, and it has been changed and updated as the needs for it have changed. Whether it was a foundation garment for a lot of women to put their gowns on, or it's it's something to wear to help with your posture. It really helps a lot of people with functioning because some people, they might need the extra help around their body. Or then it changed into basic garments and stuff. Like, corsets have been around for a really, really long time, and there's so many different ways to make them, and there's so many uses for them as well. So I went down the rabbit hole of learning how to make corsets, learning the history of corsets, and I went to the very last Oxford Conference of Corsetry back in 2019, and that was amazing. I was able to meet so many other corset makers from around the world. I had a photo shoot where I made a corset for an amazing woman, and we had a photo shoot in the Jesus College in Oxford. We actually had a photo shoot in the chapel itself, and it was amazing. But yeah, I've really been able to sort of hyper focus on corsetry, and I love it. I think there's so many uses to it, and uses for them, I should say. And just, yeah, I love patterning them, I love making them, and there's so many different like sewing techniques and fabrics, and lots of different things. So yeah, I love them. I think they're really cool. So because I've been asked multiple times over the years to teach corset making, I was like, no, there is so much to it. I don't know how I'd be able to teach anybody this. So thankfully I've been able to plan out an entire course for this. I've got most of the details sorted. I have to finish finalizing exactly what we're going to be making, how many corsets I'm going to be making, and making sure that I can actually get all of the supplies for everything. Oh my goodness, I haven't drawn. Oh, I've gotten distracted. All right, it should still be fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, as soon as I've got a firm plan in place for the amount of corsets that I'll be making for this course, as well as making sure I can get my hands on all the supplies that I need for it, then I'll be letting everybody know when it's all available. I missed a very important step. No. Okay, we're good now. Whoops, my bad. All right, let's do this. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but yeah. Oh, she keeps rocking back and forward. She's dancing. Well, she can stop dancing because I'm trying to drape. So I've got to hold her in place. It is a very rewarding skill, isn't it? Although, as soon as you start telling people that you know how to sew, expect a lot of people to say, oh, can you fix this for me? Can you make that for me? Oh, can you hem my pants for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? Say no, or say, how much are you going to pay me for it? Because as soon as you start telling people that you know how to sew, it's like, can you make me this? Can you make me that? Yeah, you're fine. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Number 5. Done. And that one, there we go. She's still dancing. This is almost like the very first time we did the live when she decided to come out of her base. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah. Oh, she's happy, is she? Of course. All right. Last two. She can stop doing that. Ah. All right, so we've got the grain line going directly down the center of the panel. Go cut up all this excess. There's so much extra fabric here. All right. Here's the top. There we go. I didn't forget to draw the outline this time. Oh, it's ridiculous. There we go, another one done. Last one, lacing panel. Okay. Any more pins? Oh, another dud. So we want to make sure that the grain line is matching where the centre back seam is. Good morning! Afternoon. So we want to make sure that the grain line follows along the centre back because we need this to be nice and straight in the back for the lacing panel. There we go. Ow, I just pinned myself again. What is with me today? Okay, there we go. Nicely. This brings back memories. There we go. Great. Ta-da! Take these three out. Trim this one down. So that's just my son in the kitchen. He has his headphones on so he can't hear how loud he's being right now. Oh, you've got it off one ear so you can hear her radio. It's all good. You're fine, buddy.
I'm sure.
Huh?
I'm sure.
Yeah, you're fine. Sorry, I like teasing him a bit. Okay. A bit. Oh, and I've got to turn my iron back on. Almost done, almost done. There we go. We want a nice straight line right here. There we go. Take all these off the top. And just trim all of these down so you don't have as much to deal with later. Same to the bottom. There we go. We have now patterned out this entire corset, ready to go. So the last final thing I like to do is just steam and iron all the seam lines. See, all of these points right here where all the folds are, and that gives us a really nice, like a pressed seam, like right here, a really nice straight line, so that when I trace this out on paper, it's much more accurate. So let's get my very heavy iron out and give it a good steam. There we go. And this is the reason why we don't use the heat erasable friction pens for this one. And there we go. All done. We finally have draped out a corset pattern. This is a little, just an underbust, kind of like a bustier. There we go. So you can wear like a shirt or a nice little top, like a really nice, like flowing top or a dress or something, and then have this over the top of it. Yeah. So I'm going to be making all of these. So this is number 5. And all of these will be available with my corset making course. And once the course is out, all of these individual patterns will be available in my store. So this is how I make most of my corset patterns. Now in the future, if you actually want to make a corset pattern just like this, and you want to make it to your own measurements, my tip is to get a mannequin that is as close to your measurements as possible, and then padding it out to your like specific measurements, like putting either like bust cups on, like I've done here to turn this from a B cup into a D cup, or actually just putting on one of your own bras and then padding it out so that is your own body shape, and then using some fabric and some wadding to create some extra padding around to pad it out to be your body shape and size. So there we go. So I will be going live again as I'm making this course, and I'm going to sort of show you a little bit more about how I'm planning out the multiple corsets that I'm going to be making over the next little while. If you want to get to know more about what's happening, my website is linked in my bio. I've got an entirely online sewing school, and this is going to be the next course that is coming out very, very soon. If you want to know the exact dates, sign up to my newsletter. I'll be sending it out within the next week once I finalize all the dates for everything. So there you go. There is number 5. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you again soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.